Okay, class, so I have my selection already started, and I should have two layers, so the sky and the landscape. Alright, what I want to do, now that I have the sky already cut out, I want to make sure that the mountains are actually cut out of the sky as well. And to do that, what I'm going to do is click on the selection right here, or actually, I want to make sure that I still have the working path. So the original path that I used to draw out those mountains is already here in my path selection area. And I want to go into my layers, and I want to make sure that I'm on the landscape layer so that I can delete the sky layer. So once I'm on this layer right here, I'm going to make sure this selection is active, and I'm going to hit delete. So now, as you can see, the sky layer is outside of the landscape layer, and then when I hit sky and minus the landscape or hide the landscape layer, you don't see the mountain ranges anymore. So that's exactly what I need. I want to make sure that this top part has its own layer, the sky, and I want to make sure that the mountainscape also has its own layer. So I'll make sure these two are separated. However, I do need more of the sky, so what I'm going to do is I want to make sure that this area, this whole empty area, gets filled in with those gray clouds. So to do that, I'm going to make sure that I am on the right layer first of all, so deselect, and then make sure the magic wand tool is selected. And this is an interesting tool to use. You're going to go into edit, and you go into content aware fill. And what that does is it takes those pixels right here, as you can see in the green, and it reads those pixels and it fills in the rest of the empty areas that you have here with those gray clouds. So I'm going to hit OK, and it's going to render, so it might take a little while, because this is a large area to cover. And you can choose a photo that has a little bit more sky, so you don't have to wait as long. But I chose this particular image because I am kind of hungry to see some kind of fall foliage in California, which we rarely have. So I wanted to work with something like that. So this is what my layer should look like. Now I see some imperfections over here, but I'm going to fix those. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go into this area right here where it says Spot Healing Brush, and I'm just going to paint over those areas where the Content Fill Aware tool read the peaks of the mountains, and I don't want that. So what this does is this also paints certain areas of your photograph, and it reads the pixels around so that it can cover them up. So as you can see, the mountain tips are disappearing because it's reading the pixels around the mountain tips, and it's covering them up with more gray clouds, and that's exactly what I want. Okay? So simple fix. So now I have more of the sky for my landscape. So if let me just make sure. So I have these two copies right here, and I want to make sure that those are on the same layer. So I'm going to select both layers, the sky copy and the sky, and I'm going to hold down Option, select both layers by holding down Shift. Then you're going to go hit Control, and you're going to merge the layers to form one layer. And then this is just going to be called Sky. So now I'm going to put my landscape on top of the sky, but now my sky is a continuous image. Okay, now I'm ready to animate. So I'm going to go into Window, I'm going to go to Timeline, and you're going to click on Create Video Timeline, like so. So you have your two layers right here. And I will see you in the next video of how to animate these two layers.